5, 4, 3. Welcome to the official launch of NollywoodFilmmaker. And on behalf of everyone who has worked on this from Dudu Tech, I'm Tommy Wale, and I'm going to be your host this evening. Now, for the furtherance of this evening, let's turn our attention to the screen for a very, very good video.
Hi, my name is Niyi Akinmolayan, and if there's anything I've learned in Nollywood, it's that making successful films require much more than just passion. It requires the right team, the right strategy, and the right decision at every step of the way. For the past 15 years, my company Anthill Studios has played a key role in many of Nollywood's biggest hits, from production to post-production and even sales. And in that time, one thing has remained clear. A lot of great ideas fail because filmmakers do not have access to the right people. That's why we've built something game-changing, something that will transform the way Nollywood works. What if you could talk to a professional before budgeting, casting, filming, or marketing? What if you had access to expert feedback on your script or film before it's too late to fix the flaws? What if you could avoid scammers and connect only with verified, reliable professionals? NollywoodFilmmaker.com connects you to real professionals for consultation, gives you access to different production services, and helps you find verified crew and film companies you can trust. Every story worth telling deserves a real chance to succeed, and now you have the right tools to make that happen. Visit NollywoodFilmmaker.com today and start making the films you've always dreamed of. It's easy.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Niyi Akinmolayan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There it is, NollywoodFilmmaker.com. We're going to do a couple of interesting things today. We're going to give us a bit of a background of what this project is, and we're actually going to demo the project in front of everyone. So we're going to try and keep this as fast as possible, and then we're going to entertain questions at the end of the day. I want to say a big thank you to the guys at J. Randall. Is Mr. Kudus here? Oh, he's not here yet. Okay. Shout out to J. Randall. They gave us this place to use. Kudus is a big believer in, fusing culture, preserving culture, and what films can do. And they've been very supportive of the work that we do at Anthill Studios. I also want to thank all the big Nollywood stakeholders that are here. I know Mr. Shaibu is here. Where's Mr. Shaibu? That is our gal. Mr. Shaibu came all the way from Abuja, just to attend this. That is the head of the National Film and Video Censors Board, right in our midst. Thank you very much. And to everyone that I cannot see their faces because it's too dark, thank you. I'm going to jump straight into this presentation. First of all, I want to say here that my work tonight is to make an argument, a very strong argument for why we need this and why we need it now. I know that in some ways, everyone, whether it's, in our little gatherings, our network events, when we hang out in lounges, everyone has something to complain about. But we're never going to make any progress if that's all we do. We feel that if we do not take the next and the bold step of taking our own destiny into our own hands, no one is ever going to do it for us. I hope that by the end of this presentation, I would have been able to make a strong point why this product is the product we need right now. Put your hands together again for yourselves for coming, and we're going to go straight into it. So how did this start? It started with two interesting stories, and I'm going to share them as quick as possible. So on the left is a story that happened, true story, 2020. We're just dealing with, the COVID, and it was like post-COVID, towards the end of 2020. So I had a friend who just came back from the United States, and she visited the studio And she was mad and she was crying. It was a lot of emotions. And I asked, what is the problem? She said, well, I probably didn't tell you, but I've always wanted to make films. I said, oh, that's great. So what happened? He said, well, I found a guy on Twitter who talks a lot about filmmaking. He's a big guy. Nollywood is one of your guys. I said, which of my guys? Oh, I know my guys. He said, no, he's one of your guys. And then I gave him money to make a film. He said, Niyi, you will not believe what this guy did. And I said, show me the film. And she showed me the film. It was a disaster. And I said, wait, hope you've not spent so much. She said, this is 2020. She said, Niyi, I've spent over 50 million naira on this film, and we're not even halfway done. And I started thinking about it. I was like, I've known this person for quite some time. We've been friends on Facebook. She's a mother of 4 kids. And it was just something she had always had a passion for. And she just took some of her savings in the US and she came to Nigeria. She wanted to make the film. Until today, the film, never happened. And I realized that we keep hearing all these stories, but we all pretend as if, well, it is not us. I'm a good guy. I've never stolen anybody's money. I've never done anyone any scam business. So it's none of my problem. But what happens is that every one of us is, grouped together as one scammy industry. That's all they do. They just collect money from unsuspecting people and, they don't make the films or they make terrible films. And I thought about it for a very long time. I was like, we can do something about this. I know people that I can trust with funds. I know people that I can trust to deliver. But how do I connect them with people who really, really need this service? And because I'm in the industry, I can tell a scammer just by looking at them. If you come to me and tell me you're a cinematographer, I can engage you in 5 minutes and know you're lying. But what happens to, someone who just wants to make films, someone who is an investor, and he really, really cares about the business? Because there is a business there. Don't let anyone lie to you. If you're making it in film, there is no money like it. Sometimes it's like blood money if you make it. And a lot of people want to do these things, and they keep hitting these, roadblocks that keeps reminding them that Nollywood is a place to run away from. So I kept that for a long time, and I started thinking about the problem. Of course, I knew that it was probably something that would have to do with technology if we could figure it out. But this was kind of like the turning point. So in 2021, Amazon came to Nigeria, and one of the studios they highlighted was Antil Studio. So they visited Antil, and they said, Niyi, talk to us about, what can you do for us, Amazon. And I was like, I know you guys want to do a lot of licensing, and licensing is good, but licensing is not the only thing I want. And they said, what do you want? I said, I've seen you people do this thing in other countries. I want boots on ground. I want Amazon, in Nigeria. I said, you can partner with Antil Studios. We have a warehouse, in Ikeja. We can work together. And they all burst into laughter in the room, all the white people. And I was wondering why they found that very funny. And they said something that triggered an argument. They said, Niyi, the problem is not that we cannot bring our boots on ground and work with you. But the problem is, if it is just a few of you, then it is not worth our time, nor our money. And I was like, what do you mean it's just a film? There are a couple of us, we're making films. I just, put King of Thieves on your platform. Jade is making good films. Kunle is making films. And then they said the second thing, and that was where I lost the argument. They said, this one is going to make you laugh. And they said, Niyi, who is the special effects person on these 3 films you mentioned? And they were correct. It was just one person. I said, okay, good. Who is the sound, mixer on all these films you mentioned? Shockingly, it was just one person. And I realized, oh shit, we can't build an industry when there is only one good sound mixer in an entire industry that claims to be the 3rd in the world. That's not a serious industry. We can't build an industry when there is only one very good special effects artist. And we're always, making bold claims. Nollywood is the second. What's that number? It keeps changing. Is it second or third? People just cook up numbers, from their bum. I was like, okay, fine, you guys win. I get the point. But how do we solve this problem? And I couldn't answer it. And I think about it even till today. The AMVCA, there's a category called sound design. 5 nominations. Until alone has 3 out of it. I don't think that's an industry. Special effects nomination. Akim has 3 out of 5. We have to do better. So how are we going to make 20 Jaguns in a year? 15 Gangs of Lagos in a year when we have only 1 or 2 or 3 good DPs, or 1 or 2 or 3 good directors that can handle films at that scale. That was where I started thinking seriously about the problem. So I knew right there that it wasn't a problem that we could solve the way we've been handling all the issues that we handle in Nollywood, which is, we do conferences and everybody talks and we clap and everybody goes home and nothing is done. Somebody has to put their money where their mouth is. There has to be action. And we started thinking about the action. Of course, I didn't know anything about, making web apps or mobile apps. So I did the first foolish thing. I tried learning how to do it myself. And I passed my Udemy course, but I still couldn't build nothing. So I did the second stupid thing. I went to Twitter and I started looking for people who talk a lot about being good, programmers and web designers, and people who can do technologies. And I started wasting my money. I tried it first, 2021. It didn't work. I shut it down. I didn't like it. I did it again in 2022. It didn't work. Then in 2023, I was fortunate. Someone reached out and we kind of began the process of what we're seeing today. But before I go into it, I want to highlight a few things. Why this is really important. I need you to look at, this slide very well. Now, there are things that we will never be able to control. It doesn't matter, how much confidence we have in ourselves. We will never know what the audience like. Audience taste will always change. There was a time in this country, horror movies was what was reigning. Everybody has forgotten. There was a time, if you wanted to make, a successful film, it has to be horror or cultic. And then we woke up one day, we started doing action films, the Teco Bensons and all those early action films. And then the MME songs took over with Desmond Elliott. And there's all those really cool rom-coms, and then the wedding parties came. And we're like, we're only going to be doing party films, And then King of Boys came. I was like, okay, maybe we can go gritty. We never know. We just keep trying. Now, epic is reigning. Everybody wants to, have a taste of the epic thing. So because we will never know that, we will never be able to control that. You might make a film right now that you think people are going to like, and they're never going to like it. And it's not because you've made a bad film. It's just because it happens. Will the economy affect the box office? That is also unpredictable. But the funny thing about the economy and the box office is that the nature of our product, which is film, is so emotional that the hardest December in Nigeria, the hardest holiday in Nigeria generated $1.8 billion for one film. The month that had, the most expensive cinema ticket. So how do you even make that judgment call? And for people who work in distribution, I know it was a bit confusing because, last year everybody was like, how are we going to do it? Are people going to come to the cinema? Nobody knows for sure. I remember when we made a film, the setup, forgotten the year. I don't know if there's any Blood person here to remind me. And, oh, good. So we did the setup, got really good critical review. Everybody was loving it, and that was when Circle Mall had just opened. And then there was this nasty riot, in the country. And for like a whole week, if not 2 weeks, people couldn't go to the cinema. And a film that had started with a very great box office weekend, everything just, crashed. Those are things we cannot predict. The last thing we know we can't predict is these platforms. Netflix, Amazon, everybody is screaming, oh, they've left. This is not the first time they are leaving now. They've done it before. They've come, they've left, they will come back again. You can't ignore Nigeria. It's impossible. But I hope that when they come back, we're prepared. And that's what we're trying to do. Now, there are things that we know we can control for sure. This is why we built this service. We can control capacity and training. It's our responsibility. We can control ethics and professionalism. The reason why a lot of foreign people find it hard to work with us is that second point. We just are terrible people to work with when it comes to being professional at our work. And we need to fix that. It's our responsibility. And we know we can fix that because it doesn't take anything to fix. We don't need to go abroad to learn professionalism. We can do it. The olden Nollywood, when it was straight from, theater arts and people went straight into filmmaking, there was a lot more discipline, there was a lot more training, but now, anyone who can hold a camera can jump on a set and claim to be a professional. That, hopefully, we can fix. Post-production that meets global standards. This is usually a big problem, right? So even sometimes when you have the big platforms or big investments and they want to make films, they make the films and they take all the films back to the UK to finish. They take all the films back to, and that drives me crazy because 90% of post-production work is done on computers. It's computers you can buy at Computer Village. It's not, it's not like I've been to post-production facilities outside the country. It's not Boeing 747. It's equipment people can buy and actually be trained to do. So we can fix that if we're serious about it. Feedback on scripts and film. Every serious Hollywood film always goes through a focus group before it's released. You release a film. So right now they've tested Superman in cinema. There's like, should we release this film? Should we go and reshoot? Are we going to fail? That is a serious industry that knows that if they're investing 200 million in a film and they don't make 600 million back, it's a failure and everybody's going to get fired. We need to start thinking about that before you make that film. After you've made that film, you don't just throw it out in the market. The reason films like King of Thieves exist today that triggered films like Jagun Jagun was because someone had made a film, showed it to a group of people that understood the market and understood the things to fix to make it happen for cinema, and they reworked the film. I can tell you that a lot of films that you see out there and you say, this film is terrible, it's bad. Maybe all he just needed was a re-edit. Maybe all he needed was just to work on the sound. Maybe all he needed was just a couple more extra shoots to make it happen. We can fix that. And if we fix that, we can make better films. Same thing goes with our scripts. People get a first draft and then they just go on set and start filming. It's not done anywhere in the world. Those are some of the things we're thinking about. Scale and high production values. This is a matter of telling yourself, we want to make a film and we want to make it big. What we know from the experience, and I can speak because I've been there, I've been in all the rooms, is as long as you're willing to go higher, your production values and your scale, those platforms will take you seriously. If you're making films that look like stuff they would see on YouTube, how do you, what is the distinction? Or you're trying to have a partnership with a foreign studio, where do you stand out? We can think about scale and high production values. We can tell ourselves, hey, why are we making this epic film with 50 people in a war scene when we can make it with 1,000 people? We can be deliberate about those things. And sometimes what you need to translate to scale is just a couple extra more cash. It's not even as ridiculous. But because most people do not know how to think about scale, okay, it affects their judgment and how they make films. We can fix that. We can fix basic things like budgets and schedules. A lot of times, people go ahead and make films without a realistic budget in mind. Half of the time, nobody even has post-production budget or marketing budget. They just shoot the film and hope that God will help them sell it. Or if they dance well on TikTok, and hopefully to go viral. I know when people tell me that, Niyi, are we not going to do something that will go viral? Nobody knows anything that goes viral. You have to plan for it. And we need to be very, very professional. I've had instances where we're working with foreign clients and they ask for a budget. And they look at our budget like, excuse me, what is this budget? Where are all the pluses and minuses? Where are all the things that you need to factor into? I was like, sorry, we did it in Excel. We did not know. I remember in the early days when I used to do a lot of work, for international NGOs, I used to really struggle with budgeting, until I found people who actually understood how to structure a budget. And the interesting thing is that these are things that you just need people on that end who understand how those things work to work with Nollywood and ensure that when we're dealing with people that have money, we can deal with them in a way that they take us a lot more seriously. Now, this is how we all make money currently in Nollywood. We make a lot of low to mid-budget films. A lot of the films are low to mid-budget. We hope that the cinemas help us sell the film, because half of the time we are fighting with the cinema. They did not give us showtime. This one, he gave us showtime. This one, he removed my film. Everybody, we're always fighting on the internet when it comes to time to sell film. But we hope, if the cinemas like you, maybe you will make money. We also hope that the streamers buy our films. As fancy as that sounds, it's very chaotic. That's not an industry. It's an industry based on just hope. Make we see as it go be. So we've been thinking about it, that I have been thinking about it, and I know I've been very vocal about it on social media, that you don't just build the industry that has this amount of people that are interested in film on just making films and selling films. What happens to people coming to film in Nigeria just to cut costs? A lot of people will find that opportunity an advantage if they can come to Nigeria to film something, an action sequence, a Queen of Catway, those kind of stories that Hollywood is a bit interested in. Why aren't we having Hollywood productions happening in Nigeria? Because there's nobody to work with here. So for Hollywood to come and film in Nigeria, they have to import an entire team. There was a show that happened on Amazon in the early days when they came, LOL, the basketball show. They imported everybody. I was very confused, including the cameras they used and everything. They did not want to take a risk. It was very, very confusing. But we might go and say, that's a problem, but we have to be honest with ourselves. Do we have anything, do we have any structure on ground that will make it very appealing for people to come? Do we have trust? It's a very, very big question. But I feel that this is something we all need to look at, because this can genuinely transform the industry. Nigerian crew working on foreign productions. I was privileged to visit Pinewood Studios, and one of the interactions that we had there was when we discovered that a lot of times Americans, Hollywood love to come to Pinewood Studios. That's where they shoot a lot of the Star Wars, a couple of the of the Marvel films, and a lot of all those Spielberg films. And I asked, but why? What is special about the UK? Because the UK itself, they don't really have a big film industry. They're not Hollywood. They don't pay that much. But the best talent, the best crew, the best Steadicam operators, the best DPs, the best key grips, they're in the UK. So America will rather, if they cannot get crew from the UK to bring, they would bring their production to Pinewood just so they can access that talent pool. That's very empowering for an industry. That's something that needs to happen. If you've been privileged to do some work outside the country, one of the key people you find in places like sound, Indians, any big production anywhere in the world, some of the Indians, they can't even speak good English, but put the headphone on the head and listen to the quality of the sound that they make. Why can't we be that? Why can't we be known for something? Why can't we be known for something so good that people call us to come and do those work? It empowers the industry. And what happens is that there is constantly an exchange, and that exchange will bring that experience and that knowledge back into our own industry, and then it grows. Co-production between foreign studios and Nigerian studios. This is where the issue of trust comes in. Can we both agree that if we combine resources and money together, we can make it work? If somebody wants to make a film and they want to shoot half of it in the UK or in India, and they want to shoot the remaining half in Nigeria, do they need to come to Nigeria, or can they trust that the Nigerian company will uphold their own end of the deal? If we all agree that, it's a $1 million budget film and the Nigerian company is handling $500K, Can we trust that we can do it? The moment we're able to solve this problem, people will come. The last thing is just the sheer idea that you can get some unique kind of skill from Nigeria is very important. I mean, if you want to do period films, you know the talent is also in the UK. It doesn't matter where you are shooting it. That's where all the best costumiers are. Some of the best DPs are from Iran. So you see some productions, they already know where some of those key talents are. You will hear that people that are doing stunts, action, stunts, people that are doing the kind of stuff that you need for big film. Some of them are not based in America. Some of them are based in some remote country in Europe. But you know that that's what they are talented for. That's what they're good at. We cannot keep calling ourselves the third largest industry in the world if we're not able to do any of this. Now, the moment we all agree, then a few of these items are the things that we constantly need to start doing. One, we need to accept that hope alone is not a strategy. I've said that. We need to stop telling ourselves that it will get better. I don't know what that thing means. Okay? It's never going to get better if we don't take action. We need to agree, and this is very important, that a handful of success stories doesn't define an industry. You can't say the industry is great when in a year it's only a film or two films that crosses 500 million in the box office. That's not success. And we need to be very honest about it. The problem with Nigeria is that rather than everyone figuring out how do we make 5 Everybody Loves Jennifer, everyone is thinking, how do I become the Everybody Loves Jennifer? How do I now become the only person? And the moment we keep thinking like that, nobody's going to ever work with us. Because nobody wants to work in an industry of one winner. What happens if the winner quits or decides he's not doing it again? What happens to every other person? And that's really something we need to think about. I know that, we've worked really hard, but I also like to think that we've been very lucky at Anti Studios with some of the productions that we've done. But we've been very deliberate. Anti Studios is the only studio that has done Netflix and Amazon originals with 0 international crew. All our crew are all based in Nigeria, trained, some of them trained in the studio, some of them empowered in the studio. Some of the directors that are now doing great were people that worked in the studio. You know why? Because I don't want to be the only person making big films. It makes no sense. The industry grows. The investors, and a few of them are here tonight, they don't want to see a presentation or a sheet and they're looking at the graph and there's just one spike in just one person. They want to see that every month there is a film that is crossing 300, 400 million naira in cinema. They want to know that every month there is a film that is stirring up conversations, on the streamer level. They want to know that that's a place to put investment money in. We need to stop that mentality. And then this one, we need to stop arguing with people who don't care about Nollywood. And I see that a lot, whether it's at events, which is why I don't go to all these events, or on social media, where people who don't know anything about the industry, are talking, and we engage in those things rather than move forward. I remember when Netflix pulled out, and there was so much discussion on the internet about, what happened is because, they gave them money and they are using it to buy a house. That's why Netflix pulled out. The first thing I said is, so if they give us money, we should not buy a house. I don't understand, And I saw a couple of Nigerian filmmakers engaging in all those things, and I know we're too distracted. Sometimes we need the gathering of ourselves so that we can be honest about the things that matter and the things that don't matter, so that other people can take us seriously. I got a message from, I think it's one of these TV stations in the UK. So they want to come do some interviews in Nigeria because they heard that there is going to be a lot of local investment coming into the industry now that some of the big players have pulled out. And they were asking me, if I think that there is interest from local investors. And what I know, as a matter of fact, is that there's been a lot of interest. Like the interest has really grown ever since the streamers left. So there's a lot of local money, and I'm not even joking with you guys. There is a lot of local investment, but there is a barrier. And that barrier is, who do we give this money to? So I asked myself, what if we build a platform? I understand how to build platforms very well. I understand how to connect things. But what if we think about it like this? Build a platform first that has a database of trained and verified professionals. I want everybody to take note of the word verified and the word professionals. Trained and verified professionals where we have regular technical and ethics training, very important, where we have their profiles constantly updated with ratings and work history. We keep that database. And do you know what we did? We wanted to even be sure if the industry would be open to something like that. So you know what I did? I secretly sent a link to, a couple of groups that we had on WhatsApp, post-production group, production people, and I just said, hey, we're trying to build a database, if you're interested. As I speak to you, we have over 200 crew members on that database and over 30 companies verified. We have about 100 more on the waiting list. This thing has not even been made public. And what I get from that is everybody genuinely wants to be in a place where it can matter to them that they are a member of an industry. If you've ever had to live abroad, you can't wake up and join the Cinematographers Association. Who are you? What do you? And it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to go back to their school. You're going to have to do the training. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, just for you to be on that list, because that list is important to them, and that is where they do all their recommendations from. So we realized, oh my God, this is really powerful. We have over 200 people that willingly put not just their work, their profile, everything they've done, including their identity, just so they can be part of an industry. So we started putting together the database. And then the next thing we asked ourselves is, how do we connect people who want to make films with these professionals? Let's design a system that anytime you want to talk to a professional, you want to talk to a writer, you want to talk to a producer, you want to talk to a film marketer, you want to talk to a distributor, there is a platform that allows you. You don't just guess, and you don't listen to people on Twitter, okay? Because the real people that are doing the work is two things. The real people that are doing the work are either not on social media or they have an alternate identity. One of my favorite editors, she's a nerd in real life, but she's a baddie on Instagram. You can never know that it is the same person. And they're laughing. She's probably here. And if we do not find that unique way to connect, there's some amazing DPs that you will never know. You just see their work. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they say. You don't even know their opinion about anything. They're just in their quiet corner. And there are people with money, with genuine interest, who want to hire these people, but they keep ending up with Brother Razak, that shot, something 10 years ago and claims he's a veteran. All that nonsense has to end, or at least we have to make it end. Now, there are people who need some film services. Now, let me explain this very carefully. There was a time, people used to come to me a lot because, people know that, I used to be the guy who cut trailers that everybody would go crazy about. So even when they have a bad film, they will come and say, Niyi, Baba, gay trailer. Just help us make it sweet. I remember in those early, the late 2000s and the early 2000s, I used to cut really, really crazy trailers that even me, I couldn't watch the films. But people were going to come to cinema to watch the film because of the trailer. Now, that is not an expertise everyone has, right? You might have a studio, you might have fantastic editors, you might have a great team, but you just don't know how to do great marketing. You don't know how to cut good trailers. Why don't you reach out to people who do that professionally? There are people who are just brilliant with some of these things. People who know how to help do budgeting. They know how to do the budgeting because they've done it in several ways at different levels. Why are you stressing yourself? Hand over the script to them. Let them do the thinking for you. Let them do the budgeting for you. That way, you can plug in all the gaps that makes, that would, shortchange your film and ensure that you have something great. Some people have great ideas, but they don't know how to do a good pitch deck to present to an investor. Somebody sent me 2 pitch decks recently that was done in Microsoft Word. And I'm like, I cannot even read it. Talk less of an investor that is used to seeing charts and projections and all those basic things. And it's okay because you can be a creative and you do not know how to present your best ideas. Someone can do that for you. And those are some of the little things why a great idea might never even get funding just because of the way it's presented. Why do that when people can do it? Focus groups for scripts and finished films. This is one of my important service that I really want to encourage Nollywood to start doing. When they showed me King of Thieves, and this is the only example, I have tons of examples, it was titled Ogundabede. That was the title of the film. It was like 3 hours long. They were not sure exactly what they were going to do with it. There was even an option to just put it on YouTube. Luckily, at met Femi Adebayo, we had done some work on Progressive Tailors Club, so we just connected. And he reached out to Film One, and they said, why don't you talk to Niyi? Let him even take a look at this film. Coincidentally, we were already thinking about making epics at that time, and I was like, who am I going to make epics? That time I wanted to make Abijawara, all those my classic heroes. And then we saw the film, and I looked at the film. I remember we watched it, at the Cube. It was almost 3 hours. It was really long. Why was it long? It was Yoruba people. They would talk and talk and talk and incantation and all of that. I was like, ugh. But then the story was there, and it was really powerful. So I said, the first thing I said at the end of the meeting, and it was me, my head of production then, and I think one more person, said, you know what, guys, let's take this film and go and rewatch it in the studio and really think about what to do. But the first thing I'm going to tell you here is that if you're going to cinema, you cannot call the title Ogundabede. Can we first agree on that? And he said, okay, fine. What should we call it? What does this Ogundabede even mean? It's a ritual for thieves. Okay, fine, let's call it King of Thieves. Why should we call it King of Thieves? Because people just saw King of Boys. It would ring, it would connect. So we first locked the name. And then we went to the studio. What I did was, and I brought everybody, Igbo people, Yoruba people, young people that get bored easily. Everybody sit down. We bought pizza, locked the door. We're all going to watch this film. And the moment you're not feeling a scene, tell me. And so we put the film, we watched it, we put a time code on it. And the moment I started noticing people getting bored, I would mark the time code, I'll mark the time code, I'll mark the time code. And that was what we used to start cutting the film. So we started taking out those bits that we felt did not connect. But something also happened. Because the story was very powerful and engaging, the non-Yorubas, that were in our midst, they were like, I'm sorry, so what does that thing mean? They kept asking, there is translation if you watch Yoruba film, but there is meaning, okay? So when you see where they were trying to raise Ibrahim Chata, if you've seen King of Thieves, and then they poured salt, and then he sneezed, okay? It's a thing, it's a ritual. The Yoruba people understand it. But I noticed that everybody wanted to understand why, not just the meaning or the direct translation, but why the things that were happening. And that was what gave us the spark. It's like, you know what? We're going to change the approach of this film. We're going to make it a narration. But we're not just going to make it a narration. We are going to reshoot. And we're not just going to reshoot. We are going to let the most ultimate narrator voice in Nigeria, Segun Arinze, be the person to do the narration. And we're going to go to a museum, and we're going to make it look as if he's telling a story. And I raised it with, Femi, and he was like, you sure it's going to work? I was like, I think it's going to work because this is how we can introduce this genre to an entire industry. The only places people see these films are on YouTube. This is how we're going to make it better. And then we thought about a lot of other things again. The music was mostly local, pukulu, Nigerian music. And I said, we can do something different. So I got the music team, and I was like, guys, let's go and watch Gladiator. Let's go and watch Lord of the Rings. So we spent like 2 weeks just studying those films. Like, how do we mirror some of these good ideas so that these things can sound a bit epic? Now, all the extra costs we spent on King of Thieves, probably between 5M to 6M, when we were done with the film, because it was now a completely different film, even down to like the posters and everything, I remember we took it to the distributors, and I was like, so this is the new film. Now, what do you think? I was like, okay, maybe we'll do 60M, in cinemas. At least you guys have touched it up. I walked out of that room and I was laughing. It's like, I don't mind them. They've not seen anything like this before. We now went back again. I was like, but why did they say 60M? Let's go and cut a trailer. Let's go and cut a teaser. Just something nobody has seen before. Let's add effects, extra effects to the film. So we went back and we did it. And we're like, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a big premiere. And we're going to do a premiere that no one has ever done before. We're going to bring all the masquerades. We're going to build, a village. And, we collaborated with the Yoruba people. And if you know Yoruba people, they support themselves a lot. And it was the first time every one of them were, they were going to be involved in something at that scale. So everybody came in and they all got involved. I remember at the premiere, when we saw the reaction at the premiere, the distributors looked at me and said, okay, maybe 200 million. The film ended up making 350 million in cinemas. Okay, and on Amazon, it was $100K. Now, all it just took was a few weeks of watching the film, making recommendations, and spending extra 5 million naira. And you can transform a film from what could have ended up on YouTube to what it has become. What can you do with scripts? When they brought Lishabi's script to me, the first problem with Lishabi was that it is not a documented story. It's mostly just fable. So if you go online, the most you will see is something on Naira Land. But there was only one consistent thing in the fable, is that he rose up and gathered a bunch of farmers, okay? And they rose up against your empire. So when I looked at it, it was like a 30-page script. It's like, ain't no way we're going to do a 30-page script. But I also realized that at that level, the writer couldn't imagine something at scale. And so we started thinking, how do we enrich this story? First of all, we are going to agree that we are not going to tell the real story. We're going to add fiction to it. There is no Oshokenu in the film. Shout out to Macaroni. I think I saw him. Okay. There is no Oshokenu in the story. It was just a character we came up with. Why did we have to come up with the character? Because this should be needed motivation, right? If you know stories and script, you know that you don't just wake up and start, fighting wars. There has to be a motivation. You killed my best friend, so I am going to kill you. Then there was a second problem, and this was one of the best problems in the film. We couldn't make, in the original script, the king was evil. And then we had a backlash from some of the core Yoruba people, the Ibrahim Charters and everybody, and they said, it's not possible. You cannot make, that king was not an evil king. But I was like, so why would this guy rise up to fight? So we struggled with the story, and I was like, you know what? We're going to create a villain that works for the king and then takes power into his own hand. And I wrote the entire Ibrahim Chatta character that now became kind of like the pivot that drove the story to where it needed to be. That is the power of feedback. Now, it does not even mean I'm better than the writer at all. It might just even be feedback that makes the writer go back and like, oh shit, we didn't think about this thing very well. Now that we know that this is an opportunity to do this thing at scale, let's go ahead. The next thing we said is that now that we've written this big film, we cannot give the king a small palace. So we had that first argument. It's like, we're not going to do a small palace. We're going to make a big palace. The day we showed that film to Netflix was probably the best experience I've had in my life doing this work. Everyone from their office, from the highest in the office, they all came down to watch this thing that was making everybody scream right there at Amsterdam. Was it that they hadn't seen a film before? I mean, we had done Jagun Jagun the previous year. But he just genuinely felt that, oh my God, what else are these people capable of? That is the power of feedback. You can put a script together, say, my dear Biodun Stephen, puts a beautiful script together about a family feud, okay? And somebody will look at the script and say, Biodun Stephen, this story is nice, but rather than do it in a house, why don't we do it on a cruise ship? It's the same story. But doing it on a cruise ship can turn it from a 50 million naira earning film to a 500 million naira earning film. That is what I think we can also bring. And all we need to do is just have a team of people. We call them focus groups. That's what they call them abroad. To look at these things, to review these things and say, hey, it's a great idea, it's a great story. Take this one out, take that one out. Let's make it better. So what if a platform is able to do all of that? And that's why we built this. Now we're going to do something because talk is cheap. We are actually going to see how this platform works. Can I have my MC? Where is Tommy? Tommy?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I want everybody to pay attention because very soon we are going to try and log in and do one of the services. But I'm going to run them through quickly because I've talked about them. But we broke it down into 8 major services. The first one, which is the one that is almost instantaneous and is a no-brainer, is called Chat with a Professional. Book a one-on-one session with an industry expert to get guidance, access crew, or troubleshoot any part of your filmmaking experience. We want you, before you make your film, to be very, very sure. Now, what does this mean? It means that you might have everything ready, but you just want to be sure about something. What if you've never filmed in Ibadan before? And you don't know what the challenges are? Why don't you get on the platform and say, I want to talk to a producer. Hello, producer, I would love to know what to do because I want to make a film in Ibadan. And then we take that request and we find the right consultant fit for you. And then you engage the person in a proper standard chat template. So we built a chat engine from scratch because I realized that, you can't take a chat from anywhere. And of course, you cannot just do it on WhatsApp. And that was one of the hardest part of the process, as we're going to see. Read my script and advice. Of course, I've talked a bit about that, and you see how the system works. Watch my film and advice. Create my pitch deck. Create my film budget. Create my trailer and teaser. Create my film schedule. And create my legal documents. Every day, people will be fighting themselves on Twitter. Okay? Meanwhile, there was no contract. And then you're arguing that somebody copied your story, but you did not trademark your story. You do not have all the legal documents for your music IP. Find someone to do it. You don't have to do it. That way you can focus on what you're really, really good at. And so that's why we built it. So if you go to the website right now, it's a very simple setup. You either choose to request one of the services or you chat with a professional, and then we get to the database part eventually. I want to do a quick dive to talk about our consultants. Don't worry, this is AI-generated images that I've been playing with too much these few days. But what we did was, for the past 2 months, I personally started reaching out to people. People I consider my friends, but people I also consider industry experts, but not just industry experts with a knack to share. Some of us don't like sharing. And the great Layi Wasabi has told everybody, lay off info. If we stop sharing quality information, we're never going to grow. So we picked people and it was across all age groups. Some of them are young people, some of them are old, experienced people, some of them are not that experienced, but they know what they are doing. And I reached out to all of them and I said, if I build a platform where I can find people who really need help, who really need someone to talk to, would you be willing to carve out some of your time to be that person? Okay? And right now we have about 22 consultants on our team, ranging from all of this. So what it means is that if we want to watch a film Okay, I have this set of people to look at it. Right now, if you're done with a film, most times the person you give it to is the distributor to watch. And of course, the distributor's perspective will be strictly from how are we going to sell this thing in cinema? But a group of people might watch the film and it's like, this can still be a bit better. Why don't you even go to festivals first? Maybe you should try this route. Maybe you shouldn't release it at this point in time. Maybe you should do this extra work with it. So we chose people that we know that their input in any project can transform the project. Of course, I'm also part of the consulting team, which makes me very available for these kind of things. Now, we want to do our little getting started, and Tommy told me that we can get our first customer here today, right, Tommy?
I believe we can.
All right, so take over.
So, okay, can we scan that, the QR code? So you can just go to the camera, your phone camera. Let's assume we're in a restaurant. We want to scan the menu, right? For pasta.
All right, who's going to be our first customer? Okay, we want the first customer. For
There's a
start with the
gift,
professional.
though.
Look at DME. DME wants to be customer. I think DME is ready. DME, are you ready? All right, good. We're going to visit the website together now, and I'm going to approach it completely as a new person. So the first thing, we made it really, really simple. First, you can stare at that beautiful girl, and she's not real. She's completely computer generated. And you can go straight to watching some of the tutorials. Let me just delve into that. People can take their time. We've taken the pain to do an entire playlist. So you see there are tutorials for almost every service. And you can just click Get Started. Now, when you click Get Started, it first takes you here, gets you excited about what the possibilities are, and you click Chat with a Professional. So, of course, it needs you to create an account, right? So, is there me doing it? All right, so let's create an account together, and I can walk you through the process as you're doing it. So, if you're looking at your screen, this is the one I'm hoping a lot of people, will use that are using the service. People that are also aspiring to make their first films. But of course, we want to know what your expertise is. And why this is important is that by the time you're a constant user, we might have products and services that we think is of good value to you. We want to be able to reach out because now we have your database, okay? So, Deyemi is not an aspiring filmmaker, I'm sure. You're an aspiring filmmaker. I thought you said you are now a producer. All right, so you can choose any of them. We allow people to take as much as 3 if they want, and then you click next. Now, this is really important, okay? We want to get your name, we want to get your email, and your phone number, okay? Somebody should spotlight the DMU. Yeah, you can do that there. Can you see it? Good. And then, of course, you can put an email if you want to register one. Let me put a random email. That is mine. And it's really important to put your phone number. We want to be able to reach out to our customers. And, sometimes you're making a request, but we're not exactly sure what you want. We don't want to be a closed gate where, anything you see, you get. We want to be able to call and say, we really want to understand your request so that we can help you. No, it takes any kind of number, You can put more than, you can even put more than one number. Etibere. All right, and of course, you can create your password, which is going to be important for you to constantly log in. So, where are those sharp fingers that are finished? Are you done? Done. All right, if you're done, you should get an email. If you're done, you should get an email. And when you get the email, click on the verification list and tell me what it shows you. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Have you been verified now? What? Have you checked your email? The internet is down. Busayo, do you want to come and check what DME is doing? If it is to carry weight now and flex naked chest, he will know how to do that one. Are you done?
Okay, we have someone who's been able to do it here. Though.
Can I see that? Ah, awesome. Good. So it needs you to click to verify.
Verify. Someone has done everything here.
Someone has done everything?
Yes.
Good. So let's try and use the chat service. Are you done? Awesome. Good. So log in. Now log in with the username and password.
So just go log in.
Log in with the username and password.
You're logged in. You've done the username and password. I mean,
Don't
we
worry.
have a filmmaker here.
It works. It's powered by some of the most powerful technologies on
Was
the
easy
web.
to use though.
Awesome. Good. Looks like we have a very quick customer here. Awesome. Nice. You can cancel that. This is just to save it. All right, good. So now we are at the page where you can make a request. So click on chat with a professional. And everybody should be on a page like this. Is there me here now? Log in. Oh, network issues. This thing was designed to work with the slowest network. Oh, DMU, what network are you using? All right, now, is anybody here about to make a request?
Yes, someone is here.
Oh, awesome. Now, we can look at the screen, and let me just talk us through this. So, we think that it's important to get a sense of what the issue is. So, I'm going to give you an example right now. We have just seen the first cut of our film, and some footages are looking funny. Okay, so conversation title can be footages of my film looking funny. And then you can have a detailed summary. In that detail, I want people to tell us the problem in detail. People of God, I was in my house and they told me to make film, and I made film, and they collected my money. Now, after they collected my money, we made the thing forever. You can write all that, and the more information you give, the better it is for the consultant to help. So let's say DME has a problem. So DME is probably selecting something, okay? Or madam, say you have a problem. I want to walk you through how to go about it. So let's go together. But our first customer gets to win a T-shirt, right?
She's really.
Oh, she wants to.
She's
interested.
A date now.
All right, but I'm going to guide her. So
schedule, do everything.
let's say mine is footage is bad, okay? And my summary is, I'm going to be as quick as possible. I am watching the rushes, and I noticed one of the scenes, whatever, forgive my bad English, has bad footage. So maybe this is random. Now, I want you to look at this list down. This is the power of the app. You might be a producer, but you want to talk to an editor. You might be a director, but you've done the film and you want to talk to a music person. Maybe you're working with your music person and you're not exactly sure, and you just want a professional to talk to. The beautiful thing about this detailed summary is that you can also send links, to stuff so that, the consultant can watch ahead. So in this case, maybe this person wants to talk to an editor. Then he clicks the editor, and then he clicks next. Very simple. Now, this is the second powerful thing that we did. So we've decided that if you're making a request today, we're going to need at least 12 to 24 hours to process it, because we want to read it, we want to understand it, and we want to find the right consultant. Now, somebody might have written something, and the person needs is a VFX artist, not an editor. All right? So we can look at it and say, okay, even though the person chose an editor, what the person really needs is a VFX artist. Somebody might have written it and says, this actor stole my money. And then he chose producer, but what the person really needs is a legal representative, and then we help the person. Now, what we designed is that all our consultants, they've chosen availability dates, right? So all the availability dates they've chosen and time will show up here, and you can choose any of the time. So is somebody making a date and a time selection already?
Yes. She's
Good.
made it. She's about to pay.
Oh, who is about to pay? Good. And you go to the easy route, and what we do is we give a quick summary of what you've just done, so you can have a quick look at it, and then you pay. And we think our prices are fair, considering the fact that some people will waste 50 million naira on a film that never gets made. Okay? Spend 50K just to hear word, before you do the film. So who is making payment? We will know because we are going to see it. They let me make payments now. It fall my hand. Apropos doctor, have you paid? You're a big boy. Yes, but it has all the options, whether it's card or transfer. Right now, our partner is Paystack. Oh, so you can't get your code, except you're using, what are you using, a card? Why don't you use transfer? Sorry, we are trying to sell market. So we chose Paystack as our partner because they're quite reliable and they have all these different options where you can do card, transfer, bank, the whole 9 yards. Do we have a customer who has paid? Jumoke, have you paid? You have not paid. Hey.
All of a sudden, the networks are down.
Who has paid? Who has paid? Apropos doctor. Oh, awesome. Okay, good. Let's put our hands together for our first customer. And all things being equal. So what happens is that we get to see this request immediately at the admin end. Admin, can you confirm you've seen Apropos doctor? We will know if you are lying. Now, Apropos doctor, you should have gotten an email, right, confirming that you have a chat request. The email should tell you the time. And we built something really powerful. The email will actually give you a Google Calendar. So when you click on it, it sets your calendar so you don't forget your chat. Can you see Apropos doctor now? Awesome. Good. Now, when we see that, the next thing is that we sit down and we understand the problem, and we now start looking for the particular consultant. So in this case, the person wants an editor. There'll probably be like 2 or 3 editors available because their time is showing, and then they would assign to that editor. The editors have a group, so we reach out and say, somebody has problem with bad footage. Which one of you is available for this time? And the person would answer, and then we'll assign it. Can you assign that request to me now? Done? Good. So you can see my little notification pop up there. So I'm going to see it, and I already know that there is a new request. I can see the request. It says confused about direction. Is that right? Awesome. I have an idea to shoot, but I need someone to look at our script and be sure it works. And the person wants to talk to a writer. So the consultant sees this, understands this. The consultant sets their time, and they are ready for, it's tomorrow, 8 a.m., right? So make sure you're available tomorrow. We can be gisting about other things, on the platform. And that is basically how the system gets to us. It's almost instantaneous. And once we see it, we know exactly what we need to do, because the particular consultant, that has this particular request is trained to answer these kind of things. But we're going to do something a little bit differently now. We're going to show you what actually happens in a chat. And to make that work, I'm going to open an active chat. So here is an active chat. Please look at the screen. So on this particular day, which is tomorrow, Apropos doctor will go to his page and he will see this. Now, if you look on this side, this is all the chats that this consultant has had. The user too will have all the chats that they've had, okay? And we even built something really powerful. Let's say Aproko Doctor had a discussion with me. Every chat is 1 hour, right? And he's done with the chat, but maybe he's now done the film, and he wants to continue talking with the original consultant. Rather than find a new consultant, he can actually go back and continue chatting with that person, and it will connect with that consultant. It's a really powerful feature that we built. And look at that, Aproko Doctor. Somebody should give him the phone. So the chat is not ready till tomorrow, but we did a demo, so you can see. So that's, Aproko Doctor chatting with me, and I can respond. Hello there. I am a Nollywood filmmaker consultant here to help. It's instant, and if he sends a message, we also see it immediately. Now we realized, so the consultant also has to, has this summary that he's looking at, and Aproko Doctor, knows that his time is there, but because we do not want to make it a bit inconvenient for our users, you don't see the time until it's 10 minutes to the end. So we want you to enjoy the chat. Now, all this discussion can be going on, and maybe in this particular case, Aproko Doctor wants to share a screenshot, of something, or a picture. Or maybe he's a producer, and he's like, I beg, this actor, I know they show, when I sabi him, he gets sense, and he wants to send it to the group. So I said, Tommy, let's demonstrate this picture by taking a selfie.
Can we all join this selfie?
Yeah, and actually share an image. Can we do that?
You're a beautiful person.
All of you should smile for this selfie, please.
It's fine. Can you guys come closer?
Turn on the light for this selfie now, you people.
Okay, that's perfect. So there's light.
All right, let's take the selfie. Make sure the Emi is in the selfie so I can abuse him on Instagram for not paying.
What did they say? Cheese motion, Nollywood filmmaker. An expression, are all boring. All right, here we go. This is use photo.
Now we're going to see what that looks like. As long as you have good internet, it's almost instantaneous. So what it means is that you might want to be taking screenshots of something you're struggling with, or maybe it's a set and you've taken pictures and you don't like it and you just want some recommendations. That can be happening right here. So all you need to do is click on this and the picture actually pops up. So you can turn up the light.
Picture is coming. Picture is coming.
Oh yes, we'll wait for the picture to come. Now, I wanted to take another look at the structure of the site. I'm going to read through this. We made it such that you can do the same thing you do on WhatsApp, where if you right-click or double-click, you can answer a particular message. You can share photos directly. You can attach files, docs, music, whatever. But once it's more than 20 MB, you can just send a Google Drive link. And sometimes the discussion might be so intense, and we would recommend you to just use one of our services. Okay? Now, the most powerful one, which we're going to get into now, is number 4. Number 4 is the reason why we built this powerful machine. Okay? Now, while all of that is happening, let's say Aproko Doctor asks me, Niyi, or, Nollywood consultant, because he doesn't know who is there on the other end, says, please, can you recommend a good writer for me? Ask that question. Good. I can go ahead and everybody please pay attention because this is really where this program shines. I can say, okay, do you have any preferences, location, budget, work, maybe cinema, TV, etc. And, give me a budget range or something. Please spend money on our writers. Don't pay writers very well. Half of the problem in this industry because you people don't pay writers. That's why you say money is not the issue. It's good story. But you don't want to pay writers. But you want good story. All right, good. So it says the series, Lagos, budget 1M. Now, everybody pay attention to what I'm about to do. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to contact. And I want all of you to look up. What you're looking at is the Nollywood film database. And these are real people from the industry. We have about 200 of them verified. Now look at what I can do. I can see their full name, their department. I want you to pay attention to that thing called NF score. That's where we're going to end most of our discussion today. I can see the roles that they've played. So when we're designing these things, we realize we can't design it the way Oyinbos design them because in Nigeria, people, they do more than one thing. There's nobody in this industry, that does one thing. Look at Auntie Biodun Stephen, writer, director, producer, TikToker, recent actress. All together. Very soon, she will be musician. So next thing, novelist. Next thing, motivational speaker. All one person. Good. And so we said we're going to include all that. But now we can also look at their work. And what we did is that we made sure people put links to their work. Okay? And then a fee range. So this man is hopeful to get somebody who's done a series. And how much? 1M, right? So I can go and I will just go to fee. And 1M sits between this range. And I'll click on it. And immediately, he's selecting on that. But he wants a writer. And where do writers fall in? Okay, I will look at production department. And I'll look at screen writer. Now, that is the magic. That is the magic. If you wanted a writer in Oyo, or Abeokuta, or Abuja, by the time we have 1,000 people on the database, that's going to show up. Now, the consultant can do two things. The consultant can decide while they are discussing to help the person look around. Now, if you look at this person has probably done a series before, right? I can see the Nancy Sime show, The Talking Booth. Is that a series or a film? Oh, it's a reality, good. The other person has done a short film and a film. Okay? Now, the consultant can recommend, but this is the power. You don't have to send one person. You can send two. Watch the magic. So the consultant can say, okay, I found two people for you. The consultant can do the extra work and make I even check the work where this person don't do. Click on it. And it will show if it is whatever the link is. We tell people, put their best work out there. Who is Nke Omuamadu? Put their best work out there. So if it is a link to your work on Netflix, on YouTube, put it there. And once it's done, it just goes there and says upload to chat. And that's it. Check your phone. This was very difficult to do. Please put your hands together for the team that made this happen. Now, Aproko Doctor, you can click on any of those names and tell me what you see. What do you see?
So it takes me straight to the profile of the person.
Awesome. That's it. So we're giving the client, make up your mind. We've helped you narrow it down, okay, to two people with your budget range. But like I said, everybody should pay attention to this number because in the next couple of months, that is the number that is going to matter. Now, what can you do? You can quickly look at our bio, and please note that we did not collect any money from anybody to put them on the database. It is free, but we had to verify. Everyone was called personally, and what it means is that we're keeping this huge database where we're saving all these people's number, and we hope that the business actually happens so that it makes all the investment worth it. So this person includes screenwriter in their work, and you've seen the work. The consultant can take their time. Sorry, the client, they don't need to even make the choice. Now, they can take their time and look at, the different jobs at their own pace. And the consultant personally can reach out. So this is like us helping you narrow down to what we think is best for you. And that is a choice that the client now needs to make. Why have I not seen my picture? Have you people not sent it?
It just never came in.
Where's our picture? Please send it again.
MTN is holding it up.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, and these are all the different things you can do. As a consultant or even a user, you can decide, hey, I want to share a quick file, with you. This file can be music, it can be whatever it is that we think is important. Let's say a section of a script, and send it to the person. After a while, it takes some time, depending on the size of the file, it loads and the person will get it. Typically, based on Nigeria internet, you might need to keep asking, have you seen the file? Can you confirm? And blah, blah, blah. And what we hope to do as time goes on is to ensure that a lot of the things that people send can be viewed directly in chat. Right now, if they send a picture, you can view it in chat. But if they send like a PDF, you need to download it. Or if they send like music, you need to download it. So this is how we are constantly going to be connecting you with the people that matter. But what if you don't need a crew? What if all you just have is money and you want to start building your crew and you need a production company?
Quick one, our pictures are in.
Wait, look at that. That means you people did not take that first picture very well.
Network.
All right, good. So that's basically how it works. And, when you share, you can always do, look at, who's that fine boy? So it works. But look at this. We can also go to contact and go to company. And as you can see, these are real companies. I'm sure some of you know these companies that are out there. And right now, we can choose from the list that we have, and you can see the work that they do. So sometimes it might just be a post-production studio, because why should you hire an editor when you can hire a post-production studio to do all the work, and you know that you're done with your filming, you just want to hand it over to them and ensure that they deliver to you? We can recommend, and we can ask you genuinely, what exactly do you want, or what do you need? And it's the same thing. Look at the different company types: rental, post-production, VFX, animation, music studios, craft services, production companies, distribution, production design, stunts, legal, talent agencies, makeup studios, costume studios. You can search down to the state and to whatever their range is, if they have a fee. So basically, this is what is going on at the level of chat. But you can also come here, and because you're set up as a user, I'm going to come in as a user. I'm just going to be here now. Let's go to my dashboard, and I can make a different request, right, which is one of these requests. And we're not going to go to the details, but let me give you an example. Let's choose one. Which one should we choose? Maybe make a movie schedule, or maybe film, teaser, and trailer. All right. So what we can do is that we make it very easy for you. Tell us the title of the film. Send us a link to the film. Maybe an MP4, something small. Send us a dialogue track, because we're going to need it, right? We don't want your film mixed with music. And the reason we're able to do this is because this was built by professionals who actually do this kind of work. Do you have music you want in the trailer, or do you want us to create music for you? Do you have title graphics, or do you want us to give you? Do you want a vertical format, TikTok, Reel? Do you want to add production companies? You can even go and say, do you want to add cast? Let's say you have AMVC award-winning cast, You can add cast. Let's say our Proco Doctor, is one of our casts, and, he plays Shazam. And I can keep adding, Mr. Macaroni. Okay? He plays Asha Woman. Okay? And I can keep adding it like that. We can put a release date. if we want to. It just pops up a calendar. We can put the director's name. You can even do those fancy things like from the makers of. And then you can add all these additional details. And when you're done, you proceed to pay. We take it, and within a week, maximum 2 weeks, we send you a trailer. You look at the trailer, you make your comments, you make a review. If you don't like something, we send you another one. We give people the opportunity to make at least 2 reviews for it. It goes even far. You can have something as simple as creating a pitch deck, which allows you to do really important things like tell us what funding type you are looking at, tell us what your projection is in terms of money, and importantly, you can upload the script for us. So we will read the script for you to help you decide this is the best way. We can also help you decide what we think the best budget for it can look like. Typically, we will work on the deck and then we'll get like a really good graphic designer to make it very catchy and presentable. Production budget, I think a lot of people need to use this because 90% of the time we're either under budgeting or over budgeting. Let somebody help you look at the script and say, why are you spending 10 million naira on makeup artists in this film that they are all in a room and there is no serious makeup? I did not know. They told me that that's how much we should pay. You want somebody to help you look at it. And the person can say, hey, we're going to help you build your budget. Let's say you've told them how much your budget range is because we want you to be able to tell us. Okay, we can say we can help you do this 100 million budget, but we think you can do this film for 80 million. Or we can say we can help you do this 100 million budget, but really this film deserves 200 million. So we'll send the budget to you in the most professional way, the way budgets are done in professional studios all over the world. And you can have that service delivered to you. We design it in a way that within a week to 2 weeks, if it extends, beyond that time, it's probably some information we've not gotten from you that we're going to reach out and get. So basically, that is the summary of how the chat and the services work. Can we put our hands together for the team that worked behind this? Awesome. Good. Now, how are we sure we're doing the right thing? How are we sure we're recommending the right people? How do we even take ourselves seriously in a way that whether it's investors or financiers or producers can trust us? This is where the next slide comes in. And I'm going to do a deep dive on this as we gradually proceed to the end of the presentation. The Nollywood Filmmaker database is the largest place to find verified, certified, and professional Nollywood crew and companies. Now, if you pay attention to the bottom, you see that it looks like there are 3 different kinds of people in the database. We're calling one verified, we're calling another one certified, and we're calling the third one professional. Verified means that we can confirm that you work in Nollywood, which is where everybody sits at right now. We've made calls, we've checked your work, and we know that you're legit. But there's a lot more that goes into the second and the third. But how did we even walk through this profile? What does it mean to get on the Nollywood Film database? The first couple of things that we did was we ensured that we took some time to do some verification. First, you have to use your real face. So people who submitted, we compared their face with the face on their passport. If you no match, delete. Some people were looking like men in their profile, but like women in their passport. So we delete, and when we delete, you get an email that go back and fix it because something is wrong. We need an active email address. That's how you know you're verified. And we need proper identification, NIN, passport or driver's license, and your profile photo must match, and the name that you put there must match your ID. If you're a company as well, you have to provide all this, and you must have a CAC document. Okay, if you are not a registered company, we don't think you should be working in Nollywood. You are not serious. You are not paying taxes. Okay, we want people that are serious about their businesses to be on the profile. Okay, now if you scan this thing, you can quickly see what the filmmaker database is. But I'm going to save us that time and just jump into it. So If we come here and we want to sign up, so you see, that's how it works. It's very, very simple. Put all your details, put all your numbers, and when you move on to the next stage, it requires all the key verification. Anyone who, and so what we did is that we connected with, there's an API that allows you to verify NIN and passport numbers. It's expensive, so you people should use this service, Ejo, and we ensured that we can actually use that API to confirm properly, and then once we confirm, we know that that person is, legit, and the person is verified. And for companies as well, we ensured that we can always confirm, via the RC numbers on their certificates if they are legit. And so far, we've been able to compile people based on this. Now that the website is live, we know it's going to get a bit more because a lot more people are going to want to use it. Now, how are we even going to refine this better? So we've seen what we've been able to get as information from work history, records, ID verification, ethics status, and the NF score. These are the things that we are now going to use to define properly what it means to be on the database. Now, I need you to pay attention. What is an NF score? It basically means Nollywood Filmmaker score. For those of you who have lived in the US or done some transaction, everybody knows what a credit score is, right? Basically, a credit score is how they gauge whether you are worthy to be given good things, in America. Like if you're going to receive a loan in a society that, does a lot of things with debt, you need to have good credit score, right? And how do you have good credit score? It's a combination of a lot of things. Are you paying all your bills on time? Are you doing your taxes? Are you not doing illegal work? All those things are pluses and minuses. And we started thinking about it, that one of the problems we have in the industry is that you can have somebody that has been working in Nollywood for 10 years and he still doesn't know what he's doing. Why? Because there is no way to verify if the person actually knows what they are doing. We just assume that because this person says they know what they are doing, then they automatically know what they are doing. We think that has to stop. We think that people should be hired on multiple things, and we think that the NF score can reflect it. And I'm going to break this down. For crew, we started thinking about the calculation. The math behind it is a bit complicated, so I'm going to make it as simple as possible. Training and exams is going to take 30% of that score. What it means is that you're going to have to do trainings. You're going to have to pay for the trainings. You're going to have to do exams. If you tell me that you are a sound mixer or recordist, I want to test that. And as long as you keep doing those trainings and you keep passing, it keeps improving your score because now we know that you can actually do the things you say you do. Some of the trainings will be physical. A lot of them would be, if you know how, G1 scores work, if you're doing driver's license abroad, a lot of them will be quizzes. You'll be amazed at simple quizzes that a lot of Nollywood crew cannot even answer. We'll design trainings. It's going to be very affordable. Some might be expensive, especially if we're bringing people from outside the country to do the training. So that's going to take a huge part of your score. The next 30% is your work history. And work history is also going to, there's going to be some variation in it. Somebody who has done both local and international work has a better score than somebody who has only done local work. And so that, pushes you to try and do more and be more. But somebody who has done a lot of really good local work, maybe at the level that we think is very, very high and professional, deserves more score than somebody who just does, a few things here and there based on what they say they do. So if you say you're a cinematographer, okay, and you've not done films at the level we think is important, it affects your score. Client feedback. Now, that thing that Aproko Doctor opened, okay, in next couple of weeks, is going to have a button down there called rate or review. So after Aproko Doctor has worked with this writer, if he's disappointed in the writer, he just goes there and rates the writer. It's no longer, it's not they don't like me, they like me. No. Now, the rating is not public, meaning you cannot call your friends to rate you. Hey, John, now, give me 5 stars. Like both. No. People who use your service from the app, they need to rate you. So you have to treat your clients nice. If you're a crew on set, you have to be respectful to your producer. You have to do your work very well because that producer is going to rate you. If the producer got your information or hired you from our platform, the producer has that power. No one else can rate you. It gets even more interesting. We want to do ethics and professionalism. And I'm glad, people from the guilds are here and Uncle Shaibu is here because we're going to be working a lot with them. We want to have standards in the industry. If I do a quiz now with 40 questions and I ask very important, what should you do when this happens? I'm very sure a lot of our crew will fail half of it. Even me, I might fail half of it. And we want to be able to design it. Now, the way it's going to work is that if we say that for you to pass a quiz, you must get 80%. It means if you get 50%, you do it again. That's how they do driver's license. By the time you do it 4 times, you will know all the signs of the road. You will know everything. By the time you keep using your money to do it, you will pay attention. So we want to start doing proper training on ethics and professionalism. There are people here like Isioma who would resonate. This thing I'm saying will resonate a lot with her. When we have international bodies come to work here, they don't understand. They don't understand why crew will come late to set. They don't. They don't. I was telling a few people recently that it's only in Nigeria that you would be on a film set and you will see all our equipment scattered on the floor, littered everywhere, and there's crew. There is key grip. In places I've worked abroad, if you cross the track and dolly of a key grip, it's big trouble. They might kick you out of that. The key grip might refuse to work that day just because it happened to me. I have to say, sorry, I'm sorry, I did not know where I come from. That's how we do. Yeah. It was a wedding party in Dubai. The guy is a Russian, he's big. He's come to, excuse me. Oh, Mr. Director, why did you do that? It's wrong. Oh, sorry, I did not know. I was rushing. I wanted to go and talk to Auntie Shola Shobowale, so And that was, I started realizing, oh my God, when you work on a professional crew, you can't know that people are filming in a location. There is training to that thing. People of God, there is training on how you arrange cables on the floor. There is Nigerian gaffers, they don't have sockets and plugs. You will get fired anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. I remember I had an international crew that came, and I got one of my G's, gaffers, like, he's the best guy. This guy is the best guy in the industry. But boy, we've been, we can kill it. And we were doing work, and there was, some light issues, and, we needed him to quickly fix it. And then you go, and I can never forget, it was Ebila Melida Gates Foundation thingy. And the lady screamed, the white lady, she screamed, oh my God, what happened? Did he just put live wire? At that point, I knew I'm going to fuck up. My dear Shola, man, to fuck up now. Why can't you see that white people are here? Should have done that thing, should have secretly done that thing in the corner. And I realized that if you have an international team and they pay attention to that, they're not going to take us seriously. They will never take us seriously. So, hopefully, we can, in the process of forcing people to be right, we can train them to do the right thing. And we feel that because they know that there is benefit, before, there is maybe you are not really motivated. Why do you want to be good? After all, they will call you. But if we run this thing for a year and you are not getting jobs because you are not being recommended, you're going to start changing your attitude. And people will start taking us seriously. This company, also a big problem. You go to a rental studio, they just bought the lenses last year. You can't use the lenses, they are all spoiled. Meanwhile, you can find out that there is a company in America that they are selling their 5-year-old equipment. And when we ship it to Nigeria, everything is shiny and glossy. There's no discipline. And what if there is somebody who actually wants to invest in the rental business, but is afraid if he doesn't do, the gra-gra way, because all the boys that he's going to put there, they're all gra-gra. He's going to lose all his money and all the equipment. Almost all the rental companies have shitty equipment. Shitty rigs, shitty tripods. People like Nora here, they cry about it every day. I'm sure she's craving to mention names. Now, we need to be able to ensure that all the things that are required for a company to call itself this kind of company, they have it. And we need to be able to do that properly. We need to be able to work with the guilds and say, work with us so that you can actually go and inspect these places. Go and inspect these places and make your conclusion. You cannot bribe them. Make your conclusions, and then beyond that, when a client or a crew use the service, the client and crew will give feedback. So you hire this studio to use their camera, and they brought the camera and it did not work. You go there and you rate them 0. That's what should happen. And then they keep constantly seeing their numbers drop. Everybody will wake up. Even crew. We're going to ask a lot of questions. How were you treated in your company? How? Do they pay their fees on time? How were you, handled when you worked on this? Even down to basic things like sexual harassment, harassment in the workplace. We want to be able to be sure that the people representing us in Nollywood have these qualities that we can check. And the way we design it is that there are some that are going to be manual, but there are some that we don't even control. Like feedback. We're just going to send you a survey, okay? And you're just going to click, 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 click. It generates the result. The result feeds back into the score. What does it mean to have a good score? This is how we have designed it. Now, for everybody, including me, we put ourselves at 0. So we are all 0. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at some of the work that people have done, and we're going to be using that to gradually increase their score. But I know that for now, there is nobody in Nollywood that will pass this first one. It's going to take a couple of months when we actually start doing the trainings and the quizzes. And this is why we need our people. We need the government. We need the guilds. We need the veterans. We need all of them to say, come, let's make this thing professional. Now, the next step is certified. We think that if you get to that number, you have tried. Most likely, you've passed all the ethics exams. You are well behaved. Okay? They can trust you, to do a good job. And of course, the badges will constantly be reviewing, every quarter. So every quarter we'd have done all the calculations and a new number will pop up from, your score. The last one, certified professional. I just like that one. Okay? So that when we have people that are bringing big money, we'll say, you can trust, you can go to sleep. They are professionals. They have technical skill. Okay? They have professional skill. 80% of Nollywood crew, they don't know how to reply email. How are you going to work in Hollywood? Let the streamers come back. Let the streamers come. You did not check your email. I checked my WhatsApp. Now, they didn't send it to my WhatsApp. Isioma is laughing. You did not check your email. You did post-production. You did editing. You sent the cut. You did not check the email thread. No, they did not mail me separately. I didn't know there was a thread. It's all those little things. They can completely transform even our own work. So we think that everybody should be striving to be this. If you want me to call you that is Nollywood's finest cinematographer. That's Nollywood's finest director. Now, the reason why this is going to be important is that you might even be an experienced person like me, but you cannot get this high score because you are badly behaved. People don't like you. You don't deliver. You're a really good editor, but Deyemi gave you his film, and you did not finish. So Deyemi has gone to Twitter to rant. Deyemi, don't rant again. Come and rate them down. We should not be exposing ourselves in front of those Twitter children. I keep telling you people, don't. They will not be dragging us. Let's come and drag ourselves where we are. But what does this also mean? Let's say Mr. Shaib has an important information, maybe some important news that they think everybody in the industry, maybe producers, should be aware of. They can reach out to us. We have a database of producers. All we need is press one button. The email will go to all of them. There's no, you don't need to say, how can we gather producers together? No. You can even say, we want to do something with all the directors in Abuja. Okay, Nollywood Filmmaker database. How can you help? We want to send this information. Then we can access that. They want to do compliance. We need to do compliance training. It's a standard everywhere in the world. They don't even do it once. They constantly do it because people forget. They need to do compliance training. Nigeria, there's a lot of that's good, but we are not going to be a successful industry. We're just going to be doing this thing that we are doing. I get an office YouTube, $5,000. I'm okay. That's not my own dream. When I got into Nollywood, I didn't join Nollywood to be collecting small money. Please. My role model is Steven Spielberg. Please, that man is, what's his worth now? Maybe $60 billion. That's my role model. I didn't come to the industry to be doing small things. When I know that there are people with big money in this country that they can put in film if we make a great sense of our capability and our seriousness. Everybody has to make this work. Now, these are typical examples of how we've already started the work. We've started designing all the quizzes. So it's going to be very easy. Everybody gets an email. Producers, we want to do a quiz. It's 40 questions, okay? Just be clicking. There's even option. It's not even hard. Click option, but you must get 80% and above. If you don't get it, pay for another one. It's going to be very cheap, 10K, 15K, 20K, those types, okay? Do it just as if you're doing a driver's license exam. Keep doing it until you pass. Once you pass, it feeds into you will see your score improve. And it doesn't matter, it could even be crew, it could be technical things. We could do a drawing, an illustration, and we'll say, tell us what you're looking at. Okay? We also want to be able to show these things to potential investors, to the potential Netflix and Amazon, say, okay, we are sorry before, now we are serious. Forgive us. We will not do it again. We will handle our productions more professionally. Okay? We will do the right job. People are making films, they did not have contracts with their musicians. So the musician will just go online and mail Netflix. Excuse me, why did you use my music in your film? And then we realized that there was no legal contract that was signed because no contract. Everybody just enter set. We want to be able to do that. For companies, we want to do surveys. Okay, surveys are the backbone of a lot of industries abroad. They don't play with surveys. You must review everybody. Even people who work in government, okay, they will send you surveys. Sometimes they will send you the survey in your mailbox and they will come and pick it. But now the world is digital, okay? So look at the kind of question. How did you find working with the company? Rate your experience. Tell us, okay? So for every company that is there, we are going to throw out surveys. This company is Aproko Film Studio. We're reviewing their NF score. We're going to throw a survey to everybody that has worked, with, just rate the work and how your experience is. Crew that have worked with them, rate it. Random questions like that, even down to things like payment. So that we stop hearing stories like, they said that the money that the person collected from Netflix, they did not pay. They paid some money and they collected some money back. But we are hearing all that gist on Twitter, and then some people are gossiping, all that messy nonsense. we can structure it properly. The last thing is, guys, we need to stop doing all these master classes that are not creating masters. It's wrong. It's very wrong. Master classes are for masters. It's masters that gather to get. Let me tell you what a master class is. I gather the top 20 cinematographers and I show them how to work the new Sony Venice. That's what a master class is. I show them how to use the 3D workflow. That's the gathering people that don't know anything about film. It's not a master. Hey, John Toriolo, please. We need to stop that nonsense. That's one. Two, people come out of workshops and you give them certificate of attendance. And they think because of that they can come and work in Antil Studios. Anyway, people even know that. You don't even bother. And it has happened to us a lot. I'm not going to mention names. We will hire people. You said you've done training in this school. First of all, how can you learn cinematography in 3 months? Are you mad? How did you learn cinematography in 3 months? Are you joking? How did you do it? Okay? Abroad, when you go to film school, after your first 1 year, when you work on set, you are serving coffee. That's what you are doing. It doesn't matter what you studied. You will first serve coffee. And in those days, that's how it used to be. If you remember, in the days of the Tunde Kelanis and co., all the people that were learning under them, they first learned by serving, understanding the process. You don't just carry, do you know what it means to be an AC, to carry cameras? A first AC abroad is a technical person. Some of them can build cameras. I've seen an AC fix a drone in front of me. That's how technical it is. A DIT, please. People will do, what's it called? They will be copying and pasting and organizing files and call themselves DIT. It's because we allow it. We do one master class and then we give everybody certificates. Okay? Every workshop, training has to be built with an exam in mind. Because if you put 50 people to learn, just like in any class, it's probably only 10 people that will pass. Those are the 10 people that should be employed. The other people should go back. And that's what we're hoping to fix. So this is something that we will be organizing. Now, a lot of people might decide, hey, you know what? F them. We don't want to be part of their stupid database. It's good. But I can bet you the next time Netflix is coming to Amazon, I know they will knock my door and they will come to visit me. And I'll tell them, guys, I have something. Work with these people because they are verified, they are certified, and they are professional. And we're hoping and we're reaching out and saying that hopefully by June, we're going to start seeing a lot of these numbers pop up. By December, we hope that we're going to do trainings, actual trainings that can translate to something. And by the end of next year, don't hire people without checking their NF score. Don't invest in people. Don't make funding decisions. I will laugh at anybody who makes those decisions and then come back to me and say, well, you should have used, our service. You should have checked our database. Eventually, the database will be big and it will be taken out of even the service in a pattern or in a way that can be accessible by people. But we want to start first by growing the database to our taste. Now, how can everybody support this? I've already talked about it. Government, endorse platforms like this. Tell everybody, what is your NF score? Are you on that platform? And the good thing is that we're not even asking money from the government. This is a private business, but we want to work with them. Okay? Don't just put people in guilds because they are paying fees. We can do better than that. Endorse them and make it a thing. What can the guilds do? I say we want to do training and compliance. I don't know anything. No. Who is going to help us package those trainings? Who is going to help us create those exams that we can now use and design it digitally for people to do? How, if you have important news to pass to people, you can work with us to do that. You can encourage your members to be on the platform. Investors, it doesn't matter what they tell you. Hopefully, you can use the service whether talking to us directly to say, guys, I want you to tell me if this is a worthy investment. Should I work with this person? And anybody who knows me knows that if there's one thing I'm good at, it is telling people the honest truth. It's going to work, it might not work. And then everybody can make their choices after that. What about us here in this room? We can talk about this. We can share it with our friends. We can encourage everybody to join this movement. It can completely transform the way we do Nollywood. And I leave with this last line that I really love saying. We want money to come to the industry. We want the streamers to come back. And let me tell you people, guys, you need the streamers to come back. There is no money like streaming money. Stop believing all that nonsense on the internet. If streaming money jam you, babami, there is nothing like it. We need them to come back, and we need them to find us in the right spot. We believe that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
Go
Niyi
sign
Akinmolayan.
up on NollywoodFilmmaker.com and start using it. I'm available to take a couple of questions while we wrap this all up.
Any questions for Mr. Niyi? A comment, okay.
Comments, questions? Let's go quickly. Thank you.
Niyi, thank you so much for the beautiful presentation.
Please quiet, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for extending the invitation for me to be here. As soon as I saw a NollywoodFilmmaker.com, like I had an idea of what this is about. Because as a writer, as a film writer for The Guardian, I discovered that if we wanted to have 3 solid productions, like King of Thieves, happening at the same time, we will not be able to do it.
Yes,
We
you
will not.
can't.
So we needed something like a production service company like this, or platform like this, where we could actually get to people, easily, especially those that are verified and those that are professionals. I'm trying to solve a problem currently, and I think I'll get that problem solved on Friday. And it's because somebody has given money to someone to make a film, and this person, like you started off, or like I know, is a social media filmmaker. He makes films on social media, and it's not actually. He has a beautiful website, has even some titles. We discovered that he has some titles that he didn't even make. And then
Wow.
he didn't make.
Wow.
Just put them there and all that. So we are trying to prosecute that matter, and we are trying to handle it in a manner that it will not
Escalate
the image of the industry. But this is very welcome. And I want to say that the first thing I will do when I get back to the office tomorrow is to ensure that we have this on our own website. The link.
Thank you.
We get requests now and then, people want to connect with the real filmmakers and all that. So this is very easy now for us to do. So we just said you go on this, and then you get whatever that you want to get. So that endorsement to have it.
Thank you. That's Abuja talking, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why we're in government. We're in government to create the environment, to create the enabling environment. We're not in government to compete with the stakeholders.
Yep.
A lot of people who know me here know that. I just saw Kudus coming. Is he here? Aha, Baba, I greet you.
He's here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Kudus, please. That's the director of J. Ranzo.
And all that. So you are going to get the endorsement. We are going to work with you when we get some of these recommendations and requests for people to make sure that then first thing first, as I get to Africa tomorrow, we are going to have this on our website. The link, so that people will get
Thank you.
across to you so easy.
Thank you.
Welcome. We need to make this industry formal. We need to professionalize this industry. There's so much informality about this industry that doesn't work. If you want if you come here, somebody will tell you, I've been doing film all my life. And you just find out that the basic things that you need to know or you need to get, things like contracts,
It's a shame.
Is an issue. Somebody came and said, I have 8 million to make a film. Can you help me make a film? That person says, yes, I will make the film. But I'm going to add my own money inside. And the person says, no, if you can't make it to the 8 million, leave it for me. I will go to hand, it's okay, bring it, I will make it. After making the film, to deliver the film to the person, you said you added 9 million to the film, even more than the executive producer. So we need to formalize, and this is a process. This is one wonderful process. And please, I want to assure you that we will do everything possible to make sure that we join this your effort in trying to formalize the film industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Shahid.
Just have one more comment or question.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Dr. Queen Blessing Ebigesin, the National President of the Association of Movie Producers. I'm so happy to be here. The reason is because this is going to take like 50% of my workload. I have to solve problems of, people who just call me and say, I gave somebody money, said he's a producer. First of all, who is this producer? Number one, the person is not even my member. And sometimes they just call me and say, somebody is calling somebody out on Instagram. You have to come and say something. I say, why should I go on Instagram to solve problems? If they are my member, they know how to reach me. So you find that people don't even want to join associations. They tell you, what are these associations doing? These are the things that we do. We collaborate. I love collaborations. For instance, when you started talking, I started posting things on our platform. And because this will solve a lot of problems for producers. Yeah. It's mainly like 50%. This platform is mainly like 50% producer's choice, if they know what they're doing. Because it's a one-stop shop. You go there, you get everything you need to do. First of all, some people don't even know how to make budget for films. Sometimes they even send proposals to people, because they don't make that budget in a way that they should make it. They kind of undercut what they're supposed to present. And when the money is given, they get on set. And they are stuck. And by the time you get back to the executive producer to say, look, we shot this movie 50%, then the executive producer looks at you like, what is this person even talking about? I behave like a white person. I plan before I do anything. So if you tell me I need 10 million to do something, and I give you that 10 million, trust me, if you come back to me for 100,000, I won't have it. That is the honest truth. It means that I must have to either cut down on something to make that 100,000 available. So if you know exactly what you need to spend for a project before getting into it, that tells you, should I go into it now? Should I wait for later? Should I replan? Should I go back to the drawing board? Should I get more people to collaborate in this? And another thing we don't really do in Nollywood, which I think this will help us do if we kind of trust ourselves more, is collaborations. Yep. Everybody wants to go and shoot that movie by themselves. And I keep saying, if we share the risk, we will share the profit. But if you don't want to share the profit, you just want to share the risk, nobody will invest with you. You have to be willing to share that stage. And I always tell people that you can come and make a movie, 20 people can make a movie of 500 million and share that stage. The ovation will be so loud that nobody will even notice if it was 20 people that put that effort together. But it is 20 people bringing their expertise on the table, their contact and everything in between. And when you make people believe that this is for us, they work with you even better. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
We at AMP are ready to work with you.
Thank you very much. And I wanted to make a quick point there that one of the things we're also hoping will happen is, because now everyone on that database, we have their information. So if there is an issue and it even needs to become a police issue, we don't need to go to talk about it on social media. We can hand over their information to you. You can say, there is somebody who has been scamming people and we hear the person is on your database. Oh, wow. Let us check this person. So there was nobody we verified that we did not call to be sure we can hear their voice, to confirm their names. And then we can hand over that information so that you can work with it. And as time goes on, especially as we build the score, we will now be making smarter decisions based on what those actual scores reflect.
All right, thank you.
Our young filmmakers.
Yes, on behalf of the crew. So my question is about conflict resolution. What's the plan on that? Because, first of all, producers are scoring people on the platform. But if it is the producer that faulted Or
Oh, the
something
producers
wrong?
too will be scored though.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not -5, -5. What's the plan on that?
So here's a few things that we've been having some of these discussions, and I mean, it's good that some of our key stakeholders are here. We think that in the next couple of weeks, we need to build like a trust committee, a trust council to help handle some of these issues, because it go get somewhere go big past me, But what I believe strongly is that because everybody is on a platform, I can say, okay, Deyemi, you had an issue with this person. Let's bring you people together, okay? And let's see how we can resolve this. Because it is important that both of you resolve it. It's good for both profiles on the platform. So over time, we're going to have what do they call it? Is it trust or advisory committee that can help us with some of those resolutions? So we are thinking about that. Thank you
One
for
last
the question
for Nollywood Filmmaker. How do you plan to protect the scripts that will be uploaded to the platform?
All
That's
right.
the IP.
Good. So
considering you are a filmmaker too, this is so you don't enter Wala.
Okay, good. So the first thing we did was we registered with the National Data Protection Agency. They have one fancy name. So we're registered. What it means is that we can collect your data because we are now responsible to the government, because we've told the government that we are handling people's data. Now, just like anywhere in the world, we have a privacy policy and a terms of agreement that you sign. If you do not check it, you do not make payment, right? So what we ensure is that people check it, they confirm, and we always tell people to watermark their script with NollywoodFilmmaker, watermark their films also with NollywoodFilmmaker. But that's how it's going to work. It's like if you're bidding for, we don't think about this thing twice. If we are looking for investment abroad, we upload all of our stuff to them because we trust that that's not going to happen. We need to build that level of trust too, and we've designed that into the system. Read the terms of agreement, read the privacy policy, check on it before you make payment. That's how we're doing it.
All right.
And now that we have people like Uncle Shai backing us, you know that now we are going to be held responsible for those kind of things. All right.
Can we take one more question?
The same conflict resolution. So if I hire somebody on the platform and you did a terrible job and I take it to police station, so no, it's actually real questions that happens in. I mean, we've had like executive producers taking producers to DSS and all of those things. As the platform, is there any way you guys bridge the gap? Like, do you hire lawyers to go and bail the person first before you now address these things?
So what we think we would recommend, and as time goes on, we'll be sending all this images, all this information to everyone on the platform, is when you use someone on the platform and something happens like that, report to us first. That might help a lot, okay? Something happened on a post-production group. This is a real story. Nora can confirm, Isama can confirm. Somebody paid for an equipment and did not pay, okay? And sorry, the person paid and the equipment was not delivered. And they were all in the same group. And the guy was lying. So you know what I did? I called the guy out and he was using trick, and then we found his social media handle. So I now threatened him and I told him that I've posted his picture on all the producer groups in the country and he's never going to get hired if he does not, do that. Then his mouth changed. He's sorry. It's because of something. He now entered my DM. The guy too did not pay him quickly on time. So he wanted to punish him. I feel that once you have a system like this, it's a little harder to do stuff like that and get away with it. We will know. And when people review, and back to your question, if you work with a producer, go and review them. Okay? Review them. That's what the surveys are going to be for. Biodun Steven, we're doing a survey on Shutter Speed Studios. If you've worked with them before, do a review. Okay? Everybody will both the producer will try to be nice, and then the crew too will try to be nice. But I also want to say something that, because of how big and intricate this thing is, we do not know the problems we are going to face. We can't anticipate it. That's why we have about 20 consultants, so I can put the problem on them. And that's why we have Guild and Abuja people, so I can transfer some of the problem to them. But I feel that because the intention is to make this thing succeed, we will find a way. But if there's a problem that happens because you use the platform, go through the platform first. Let us reach out to that person, okay? Because sometimes we've also realized that producer will say somebody did not do their job. How did you treat the person? Have you paid? And so we need to know, so that we can mediate and reach out. And the ultimate solution is that our dirty linen will not be in public. It will be within us and we can resolve it. Is that all?
There's one more question.
Oh,
at least from my end.
Okay.
It's like you people don't rate actors. I don't understand.
So, this is going to make you laugh. But the first thing we built was for actors. We had built it early January, and it's extremely powerful. Don't worry, it's going to eventually happen. But we also realized that the actor space is really big, okay, and we need to get almost every detail right. So we put the project on hold, and we decided, let's face the ones we know first, filmmakers. I think that, one of my front devs or one of my big engineers working with us on the Actors app is here. He's hiding somewhere. But he has promised me that we might have a demo by October. But it's going to change. It's going to change a lot of things. Casting, how actors get, picked. If we do it right the way we've designed it, oh my God, it's massive. It's already been built, but I won't show you. I actually have the app on my phone. When we're done, it's going to make us, for the first time, discover pure talent for what they are, from wherever they are. And it will also empower stars to really do what they are good at. So we're thinking about it. I know you actors, you are missing out on the action, but let us first, we producers are the ones that bring money. Nobody will they pay you. Okay, you are now a producer. So we want to solve our own. Because we know when all the big streamers come, they just dash you people money. And we are the ones that suffer, yes. Okay, so we're going to structure that. But yes, we have something for actors. We're going to make the announcement, hopefully before the year. And when I'm ready, I will call you. So you understand? Because we want real actors to help us test it and review it. So, yeah.
One last question, and
yes.
That's...
My name is Galax.
Hi, Galax.
Hi, Mr. Niyi. Well done. Please, can I see Mr. Niyi?
Please, let us see Mr. Niyi.
Yes.
So
my question is, as regards chatting with a professional.
All right.
There was no place there where you could say, for instance, you have an issue with the edit of your project, and obviously you need an expert opinion on it. What if, because of the genre or the kind of film it is, fine, rest. And then the person that, the back end recommends is probably the person that did the work, and then you have a problem with. In such a, how do we avoid that happening? Do we, yeah.
And you will not know.
And so it is not the person that messed up that is not, chatting
hold
with
on. First of all, we at the back end, okay, we can see every chat, okay, at the admin level. We can process every chat. We can actually see the chat, okay. So when we see those problems, we're also, I'm building this thing out of trust. If at the end of a session you're not satisfied, let us know. We'll give you another session for free. Because it is important that you get value for what you want. But you will never know who you are chatting with, whether it's the person. Maybe the person was in a bad mood when he did your work. You never know. But the reason why I was saying it is that, so that if you do not like that engagement and you make a report, we can look at that report. We know the consultant, and we can say, how did this engagement go like this? What happened? Okay? And then we can contact you and then find a way to resolve it. We want to help. And the reason why we're committing ourselves is because we're making people pay for it. It's not a free service, so it deserves that level of intentionality and attention. So we'll make it work. So we've designed our consultant handbook and we've told them not to talk nonsense like that. Okay? We hope that we do not have instances like that. But like I said, so you Galax, you are talking to the consultant said there's no problem, and you are not satisfied. Send us that feedback. So you understand? There are two things that can happen. We can assign a different consultant. So you understand? That has a completely different view. Now, remember, if you write your summary and say, I made a film titled Jugunu, okay, and I'm having a problem. If the editor of Jugunu is part of the consultant, he will know, and then we can have that discussion. So we have a group where all our consultants meet. We hope that the system becomes big enough that we begin taking a bit more, consultants so that we can accommodate a lot more issues. But yeah, we will try and give you value for money. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Niyi Akinmolayan. Let's, give him a round of applause.